I'm talking with Evan Kail, YouTuber, author, several great books, which we've talked about, and TikToker. Today, we're going to talk about. I want to know about your process. First off, when did you join TikTok?
I joined TikTok, Greg. First off, thanks for having me back. Good to see you.
You.
I joined TikTok in November of 2019, actually. And what happened was I wanted to succeed in writing. I always wanted to do something creative. I staked my whole 20s on doing that, and I basically failed. And it was kind of like, okay, what am I going to do now? Because I don't want to give up at this. I had tried YouTube. I had kind of failed gloriously in like 2015. I actually tried to do an interview show, and it just kind of didn't work out.
What happened to the interview show?
I was spending too much money on it, and my editing process I think was too lengthy. It was just difficult for me to find an audience. I mean, I'm kind of happy with what I made. I had some great guests. There's probably about 50 episodes,
Wow.
but I was spending at least $100 an episode, and I couldn't afford to do that. I had to get a guest. I would feed them. I would put efforts into editing itself, buying equipment, all that stuff. It got expensive,
Yeah.
so I pulled the plug on it, and then I just kind of gave up on YouTube. And this was when I kind of started focusing more because I was into screenwriting, and then I backed off a little bit on that, and I was into the YouTube, and then I backed off on that. I got back into books, and then I found my job, my professional job, where I work now at the Gold Shop. But I still wanted to succeed at this. It was my dream. So I had been hearing about this TikTok thing that everyone's getting famous on, and that people are finding so much success on. It's short videos, and I thought, okay, screw it, I'll download it. Going to work at the Gold Shop, I was very happy because it was like I had elevated myself out of poverty. I was working as a waiter. It was terrible. I wasn't, it was really hard work. I wasn't making any money. I had no direction in life. And it's like, oh, great, I have a career now. But I still failed at this thing that I want to succeed at, and I don't want to let that go yet. So I joined TikTok on a whim, and boom, here I am, 130,000 followers later.
Which is fantastic. So, at
Even
what
I
point
surprised.
do you see have you always seen yourself as a creator, as someone that's creating things?
Yeah.
Where did that initially start as a kid?
Probably I get it from my mom's side. We talked about my art background, and I've always just loved the process of creating and showing off my creativity. It's like whenever I was in school and the assignment was some kind of creativity base, I always got an A, and I always blew the teachers away with where my mind would go. And I always knew that was something I wanted to carry forward. And it's like, as I've seen social media take off, and I see all these people that are rising up and they're making all this money and they're having all this success just from being creative. And I thought, well, damn, that's it right there. I want that.
So, it was money the driver, or was it creative self-expression?
Probably both. I mean, it didn't help that, long story short, my family was very wealthy. I was raised kind of with a silver spoon, and we lost everything. When I say everything, I mean, like, I have memories of digging through furniture in the fraternity that I was in college, looking for spare change so I could go to McDonald's and buy something to eat because I was
Yeah.
that poor. So money definitely kind of entered the picture in my head when I didn't have it, and that's never gone away. Like I said, like life is good now, but it wasn't that way for a long time, and so
Do you find
money is
that
going to be
is your creative process something more stimulated by feast or famine?
probably famine. Actually, the more desperate I get, the more radical my mind goes, and frankly, the better creative items I can produce from that situation. Lemons to lemonade and everything. That's kind of what that should be my tramp stamp.
That's beautiful, and I think many great artists would concur with that.
I am glad that it happened. I wouldn't be half the character I am now if it wasn't for hardship and if it wasn't for going through all that. It made me a better person. I also I look back on how I used to be because, I used to just be the spoiled little shit, and I cringe at my old attitude. And then I learned something through terrible experiences, through desperation, through getting kicked to the curb, and it made me rise up and become a better person.
That's awesome.
So, if I'm ever extremely successful, I'm not going to spoil my kids the way that I was spoiled. Nothing good comes from it.
Hmm. Hmm.
I see these young influencers that, at age 15, they're making millions of dollars. I just think like, oh God, they're lucky if they'll make it to 30, just based on what that does to your brain and your attitude and your perspective of the world.
So when you first started creating, how was your creation on TikTok the process? How is it different now than it was when you first began?
I had no idea what I was doing. My first video was I was cooking, and I downloaded TikTok while I was cooking, and I thought, okay, I'm gonna try and make funny videos, I guess, that are very short. So I could do like a lot of weird voices and characters and stuff like that. And I just started doing a character while I was cooking salmon. And I got my first video, I got like 500 hits like that. And I was like, what? Whoa, 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 what? I never got anything close to that on YouTube. Like I had to spend all this money to get 300 views. I just got 500 by cooking some salmon and doing a silly voice.
Yeah, yeah.
So I instantly became addicted to it.
So now you immediately what you put in that first sentence was humor, like that you were thinking of humor, but your books that you've written, they're not all. There's a humorous twist to it, but I don't think of them as being primarily. I'm not reading them for a joke. I'm reading them because they're interesting slices of life. So, what made you think I'm going to make a video? I'm going to do a short form video on TikTok, and it's going to be funny. Why did your mind go there?
I think comedy is the best way to latch on to a social media audience in terms of making videos and, just really producing engagement, making people want to see what's next. I've always liked entertaining. I've always liked making people laugh. I'd love to do stand-up comedy. I have done it before. It's not something I do a lot, especially because COVID is just like it's not a good time to go talk into a microphone that everyone else talked into.
It's true.
But I like making people laugh, and that just seemed to me like the ticket because I know I'm funny, and I can just, if you hang out with me, everything's a joke. Even if it's raining cats and dogs and the world's on fire, I'll make a joke about that.
Who do you take after on that?
Your mom? Probably my mom. Definitely my mom, actually, because my dad, actually, I'd say my dad borderline doesn't have a sense of humor.
Yeah. He's a great man.
Very dark. Yeah, it's hard to tell him a joke. That's,
That's awesome. So, all right. So now your process first roll me. So you did the salmon, the cooking the salmon as your first video, and then what's the progression? What was that first jolt to where you posted something? I remember my first jolt was I posted something and then woke up with 20,000 new followers, and I was like, wow. And then all of a sudden I feel like, well, I think I must have to up my game because so many people are following. This seems very concerning.
I was afraid about, like, am I going to make myself look like a jackass, or am I going to offend somebody and become canceled? And I slowly discovered, well, not slowly, it took about just a few weeks of being on TikTok. TikTok seems to be a celebration of shamelessness and just how bad can you be? Because the worse you are, the more hits you're going to get. And I like this whole illusion of, I don't want to say the wrong thing. As soon as that lifted and I started telling the jokes that I have a really dark sense of humor. As soon as I started going into that avenue, then I started getting a lot of engagement. But when I was doing the kind of tongue-in-cheek jokes, or I was doing things, everything from like random facts to like, just throwing stuff to a wall and seeing what stuck. And I noticed that like the really shameless, really awful jokes, those were what were getting hits. So my first hit on TikTok, I said, you should never tell a 9/11 joke because 9 times out of 11, it's terribly inappropriate to tell a 9/11 joke. And even when they hit, they always bomb. It's a surefire way to rain down any comedy routine. So I got like 100-something thousand hits off of that. And that made my profile start to grow. And then I did this series called Terrible Things I've Done, where I'm confessing all the terrible shit that I did when I was younger.
Yeah, I'm curious. I've seen some of those. How many of those are embellishments, and how many of those are?
No, they're all true.
They're all deadpan.
They're straight up. They're all true.
Yeah, I like it. All right.
Yeah, and I was very hesitant to tell people about that shit because, like, that's a first-class ticket to hell if you watch some of them. But it worked. People love it. It made my account explode. That's totally what I owe my success to on TikTok was that video series.
Have you seen, as you've been on for how long?
So coming up on a year next month.
So
a year and 2 months.
Okay. So have you seen the type of content that you get engagement with? Has it changed over time?
Yeah, it seems to be whenever the algorithm changes, everyone kind of struggles to, figure out what it is and how to cheat it. So like for a while, like informational videos were very big, and I was on that train too. I was sharing informational content. I still do. That's the kind of the joy of checking out my page is I share tips and tricks and wisdom from the gold and silver business, and then I just tell really dark, awful jokes.
So, and do you see a difference in the amount of engagement you get in one versus the other?
It really can be a wild card. I have all kinds of conspiracy theories about why your TikTok suddenly doesn't do well, why you suddenly are losing followers, and it's very mysterious and strange. And really, I don't have the right answer because I don't work at ByteDance, so I don't know.
Yeah.
But no, I try and see every month what's working, what's not, and I build on that. But it seems like I can never build on that for long because then something changes, and I can't explain it. Sometimes my account does so well, and sometimes it doesn't do well at all. And sometimes I put out videos where I think in my head, oh, that's a million hits for sure, and I'll get 10,000.
Yeah.
Other times I'll make a joke and I will almost not release it because I think, oh, I told that joke at 2 in the morning when I was stoned, and I'm like kind of half-assing it, and that gets a million hits, and it's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, that it is. I found the same thing. I can sometimes anticipate. I think this one's going to do okay, but then there are those times when I spend inordinate, a few hours making what I think to be the perfectly crafted with subtitles with titles popping up on the page and disappearing. I think this is going to be great, and it ends up being no. It gets 20,000. It's like it dies out.
I mean, like, I'm not even that big on TikTok, given the amount of followers I have and my engagement. Like, what am I at right now? See, the lives are, because I'm live right now, the lives are where it gets so weird. Yeah, I've got 6 people watching this right now and 130,000 followers.
Yep.
And usually when I go live, I never get more than like 20 people watching my lives. And it's very curious. And I noticed, so during quarantine, I was doing a live session and I have a bunch of weapons and I started showing off a stiletto knife. And, I jokingly threatened somebody. I said, I will find you, I will cut you, or something like that. And boom, I got kicked off the live, and I got a warning from TikTok. And my lives ever since have been, people tell me that they don't see that I'm live. So I think my account got permanently flagged for doing that. And now I think that my lives are just rat fucked forever. I don't know. I'm speculating. Maybe not.
I was talking, or there's a guy that I follow that is constantly, he got permanently banned for making a joke with his wife about testosterone, and it was a completely innocuous joke, and he is often making videos complaining, and he continues to grow. I think he's at about 220,000 now, something like that. But it is one of those things that once if you get on the bad side, it seems like it's very hard to get on the good side. Well, right. Let me ask you this. When someone is thinking about making a video, when they're thinking about starting, and they're not naturally, they haven't done it. There's some sort of reticence of making that first video, or really, doing anything more than getting themselves in front of the camera. What would you say to them to encourage them or to get them to break out of that shell?
Who cares? Seriously, it's 2020. Who cares? Do you see what comes out of politicians' mouths? That is the most shameless shit in the world. You should not be concerned about what you're saying is going to offend someone, or somebody's going to perceive you in a negative light. You know how many people hate me? I don't care. I do not care at all. I get all kinds of hate mail from people. I get emails. I get people writing nasty comments on my TikTok. I don't care at all.
So where did you get the thick skin?
Good question.
I mean, one of the things that usually comes with being a creator or being an artist is a temperamental hypersensitivity.
I think probably my first round of doing YouTube desensitized me to that because I was afraid to even go on YouTube, or maybe putting out my books. Like my Ubered book, I share a lot of really personal, intimate information, and I'd never done that before. And that kind of introduced me to just be yourself, open your mouth. Who cares what people think? And now it's like, I seriously don't care at all.
Yeah.
It could be a Twitter campaign against me to have me canceled, and you could make me a meme, and I would laugh at it. Cool. Yeah. More exposure. No press is bad press.
Yeah, I always say it's feathers in a bucket. In terms of social media, it's not like there's one thing, especially in this day and age, there's not one thing that's going to blow you up or sink you within reason. I mean, there are those people. I don't want to see I don't know. There are things within reason, but in general, that reason's got very big.
I've talked about this before on my TikToks and on my YouTube and stuff. I had a sexual hookup with somebody a couple years ago, and I strongly suspect that they filmed me. And if that video's on the internet, like, I don't really care that much. It's 2020. Who cares if sex is out?
Yeah.
Plus, I look like a champ, and that shit's on record forever. So kudos to me.
When you're 95, you'll be able to. You'll be looking them up.
Come here. Why don't we fuck this guy?
Buying that. Tell me. Speak to this process of how often you need to create, the process of In other words, how often do you put out videos, and what kind of thought goes into a video? For instance, this new series that you're doing right now about gold and silver pawn stars.
Yeah. Evan Kail is a Pawn Star is the name of the show on
There we
YouTube.
go.
Well, it's also a TikTok series too. So I put out 5 videos a day. That's my bare minimum. I have found, because some people like to do these like video dumps where they'll put out 30, 40 videos in a day.
Yeah.
And I have found, at least with me, that negatively impacts my account. My viewership goes down if I do that. So does my growth. So I don't do that. I've experimented with it numerous times. It never works out.
Yep. Same here. Yep.
With my TikToks, I've got, at any given time, I have 50 plus videos in my drafts that I'm just sitting on in case I'm not feeling creative or I'm just in a bad mood. I don't want to, I'm really hungover. That's another thing. So it's always 5 videos a day. I have a schedule. The first video.
Wait, 5 videos a day?
5 a day.
Wow.
I do 1 in the morning when I wake up at like 9:30, 10, somewhere in there. Or like when I get to work. I do 1 at noon. I do 1 at 2. I do 1 when I get home, and I do 1 late at night. And sometimes if I'm feeling really ambitious, I'll throw a 6th or a 7th in there, but never more than 8 in a day. And a lot of the times it's a funny thought in my head. It's something that happened to me. It's something that I saw that I want to report on. Or I'm sitting at my desk at work, and it's like, well, I got a spare 10 minutes. I'll make a quick video about this diamond. Like today, I bought 3 diamond rings today, and I made a video about each one of them. And I released 1, and I'm sitting on the other 2. Maybe I'll release the other one tomorrow. Maybe I'll release it in a week.
How long does it take you to make a video?
Anywhere from 20 seconds to 10 minutes.
So you're never a 4-hour video guy. You don't.
God. Oh, I'd go crazy if I had to put that much time into it. No way. If I wanted to put more time into it, maybe I would get more engagement if I took more time with the text and stuff.
Yeah.
But it's like, no, I can get my point across in 20 seconds and move on with my life. I'll just do that.
Does it make any difference if you put captions on the screen or not?
Well, how do you mean?
Well,
do you mean
pop-up bubbles. The built-in like words pop up on the screen.
I don't really do that because 1, it takes too much time, and 2, despite TikTok's success and the ingeniousness of the app and everything else that it has going for it, I think it's kind of shitty to edit videos on. It's kind of a pain in the ass with the thumbs, and like it can get really frustrating really quick.
Yeah.
So I usually just don't do that. It's also borderline not applicable to the types of videos that I make. Like you do grammar videos and it works better there. Perhaps if I did that on some of my gold and silver videos, I would get a higher engagement, but I don't think the return value would be much for the amount of time that I would have to spend on it.
I have debated this very question because I can spend, in fact, I actually use a different app called Video Leap, which is sort of it's a $7 a month app that you edit. It gives you a lot more control in terms of putting text bubbles and actual media and everything else. But there is a certain amount. I'm watching something for 30 seconds, 20 seconds, and I'm not convinced there's that much of a return.
Right.
Some of the best videos have been, response videos, things that, it's.
Yeah, I've noticed that. A lot of my response videos will randomly do really well, and it's like, this took me no effort. I literally just said that you reply to somebody, and I got 100,000 hits on that.
Yeah, yeah.
Or like the one with you, where you roasted CoinHub, and that's amazing. I still think that's hilarious. But that got 100,000, and I was like, shit. Roast more people on my channel so I can do that.
So you know what? I think it is the difference between either we don't know, because it's completely random. It could be the algorithm happens to put it in front of more people for some unknown reason. Or it could be that there is a reason there. And for instance, I know this. If I put out 2 videos today, one of them was 6 seconds and one of them was about 20 seconds. The 6 seconds is going to always do better than the 20 seconds.
Right.
There are exceptions, but in general, shorter videos, when you look at watch time, it's harder to swipe past 3 seconds, which is 50%. Versus 10 seconds, which is 50% of the. So that's the time metric is the only judgment that I've seen.
TikTok's built on shamelessness and it's built on lack of attention span.
So how do you take those people that you want to watch that are watching your TikTok? How do you turn those into book readers?
That's tough. And that is the one gripe I have with TikTok is I've noticed it is incredibly difficult to get people on TikTok to jump to another platform. whether it be Instagram or YouTube or buying my books. I don't really plug my books on TikTok because one, the algorithm doesn't like it when you start plugging stuff. It seems like every time I do a video where I plug something, it doesn't do as well. And two, I mean, TikTok, like I said, it's built on short attention spans, built on Zoomers that just want to stare at a screen and not read a book. So getting them to go read is kind of a challenge, it seems like.
To the making of TikToks, have you found an optimal amount of time? In other words, you like for it to be between a certain number of seconds?
If it's a joke, definitely under 15 seconds. If it's an informative video, I'll try and fill up the whole 60 seconds, and then I'll edit it and cut it down. And just in making it smooth, I'll knock 5 seconds out, so it's 55 seconds.
And you're editing in app, so you're actually you're taking a bunch of short little segments and then stitching them all together.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's probably what I spend the most time on, actually, is going through and just shortening. Because like from the time you hit record and start talking, you've got anywhere from a half second to a 1 second delay where it picks you up talking, and you got to cut that out because people's attention spans are so short. They'll go like this if there's this much delay.
Yeah.
I try to keep my stuff really concise.
Yeah. Any other final advice for the first time person that's wanting to start, would like to build an audience?
See, I think that you and I started doing TikTok kind of right when everyone started going on, and it's already gotten way harder for people. Like, I see people that complain, or they're doing a celebration dance because they got 3,000 followers. Like, shit, I got 3,000 followers yesterday. But I've noticed it's more competitive. It is definitely ramping up. It is getting harder. The people who are on top on TikTok, the top creators, their production budgets are going up. TikTok creators are now making money, myself included. So that is making it so they can create a superior product where everybody who's just getting in now, it's going to be a lot harder for them to compete with that. And also, shit, TikTok might get banned. And what happens to my audience then? It's my biggest audience, and it could go away overnight. I'm terrified about that. Like I said, it's really hard to get them to jump platforms. So trying to get people to follow my YouTube, and because I'm putting out a video every week on YouTube. YouTube is really, really, really tough to grow on. I'm trying to grow my Instagram. I put something out every day on there, and that's tough to grow on. So yeah, I mean, I guess my advice would be just keep at it, keep creating new content, have a schedule, never take a day off, have enough videos in your drafts where if you're having an off day, you can continue to put out content. There hasn't been a day since I signed up with TikTok that I have not put a video out. It's never happened. And I will probably never allow that to happen because it would damage my page.
That's awesome. That's great advice, great wisdom. Thank you. Been great talking to you. And
yeah, Greg,
we'll do it again.
We'll chat again.
Sounds great. Take care.
All righty.